Hey guys, today is June the 2nd of 2014. I want to go over the euro dollar using price and time technical analysis. So please pause the video and read the video disclaimer. All right, I'm going to make this quick. I'm going to go over some stuff and just show you what I'm seeing. Using the commitments of trader report, you can see on May 8th we had a flush to the downside. You can see right here on the May 6th report, commercials were buying and large speculators were selling it. And retail, interesting, was caught in the mix, and we're buying it too with commercial. You can see it more right here on the index. This is net positions. You can see that large speculators sold, commercial were buying, hedging, and retail was buying. They realized it right at the 13th when they saw all these three candles lining up and the pressure to the downside, that they were on the wrong side of the fence, and then they got back in and started following the euro and selling it. So retailers, you got to keep your eyes and wake up, you know, because there's a lot of head fakes and sharks out there to get your money. You got to be with the large speculators or against commercial if you're going to win this game with the euro. And this was a bad example of what happens when you're caught like a deer. Sentiment pushing higher, euro coming down. So let's see if this sentiment takes out this pivot low right here and pushes lower, like right here. And you can see the euro tracing up higher. So that's the commitment of traders report. You can see on the Gann analysis chart that I have, levels to watch will be that 75%, 36.05, and this 50% right here, which is at 35.48. That 35.85 needs to hold. If we take that out, it could be a bear trap and then spike up, or push lower all the way to the 6. The 6 is my next calculated date if we take out this low. I was short and I covered today, so now I'm flat. I'm waiting on the sidelines. I believe, looking at the analysis that I haven't done the deep analysis I have for June, but just a little that I've watched and calculated. If this low is taken out, this thing is going to continue going lower to the 6. If this doesn't get taken out, we're going to push higher. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. So, and that's what I'm going to try to figure out. But as of now, the 29th is holding. The 21st and the 22nd seasonal dates were duds. They didn't work out. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But the 29th, with a 2 cluster hit, was right here, and that's our pivot low. So this is a positive right now within time and price. If this thing holds and takes out that high and takes out this 50% level of 36.43, we're going higher. We got to watch this angle too, because we could fail right here and do another leg lower. You got to follow the euro, and you know it's going to tell you what's going to do. But if we push through that angle, then we're going to go test this angle. And if we push through that angle, we're going to kiss and test that high. So I'm just letting you know what I'm seeing just by looking at this chart. Another thing, the Gann swing bar is still to the downside. It has not changed like this to let me know that the swing now is to the upside. So just keep that in mind, that just because it could be a possible pivot low right here because of the 29th, a lot of things are not confirming it yet. So you got to have your rules in place so like that you won't be caught up, caught in the mix like retail. I think that's it for this chart. Next thing I want to show you is timing solution chart on the euro. There's a few things I wanted to show you here. My Gann square. If you saw my last video from the pivot of the 8th, you can see if we zoom in, it's put a pivot low right here at this arc, and now it's dancing around its range. It's probably going to chop here till, I don't know, the London session opens, but it's not following the forecasted angle that I was hoping, which is this angle right here. It just cracked right through it and found support at the arc. So it should be interesting to see if we could get above here. Actually, if we could just blow away through that 36.49 and blow right through 36.70, then we got open air to push higher. Maybe chop around, and dance sideways, but we got all this free space to push, until we hit this spike right here, pivot high, which is that 37.73. But we can't take out this low, and we need to push higher if we're going to retrace to go up. Next thing, the free ellipse, same thing here. It needs to hold this angle right here. You can see it's like a triangle where it's at, and it needs to blow through this angle right here. So let's see how how it's going to develop today, especially when the London session opens. If we minimize this a little bit and use our harmonic wave, you can see that in my last video you saw it was coming in the 26, came in early, and the euro just kept dancing around here, and now it's pushing higher. The cycles start topping out on the looks like maybe the first or the second week of July. If we use our saw wave right here, which is a more angular, you can see that it put a pivot low right on the 28th. So the low came in a day early, while the cycle pinpointed it on the 26th. So if it's going to turn, it's going to turn around here, guys. And if it's going to push lower, then we're probably going to continue pushing lower, maybe onto the first week of July, or the 6th, as I have calculated. So let's see how that pans out. Another thing I wanted to show you is my turning analysis is showing that anywhere from that 35.86 all the way to that 35.41 is support right here. And if we take that 35.41 level, obviously your last line of defense would be that 34.75. Take that out, and we're just going lower. The trend to the downside is established. Planetary positions. We zoom in, you can see that Venus and Mercury came into a new sign almost together and put this pivot low here. So let's see if this planetary entering of these two signs is support for this market right here for this date. Next thing I wanted to show you is planetary lines. Mercury harmonics is holding right now. You can see that it put a pivot low right there, and if it holds, your target, if you've seen my video, possible target to the upside would be anywhere from that 37.64 all the way to that 37.72. Now if that fails, it's going to be a big drop. Next support would be, using the Mercury harmonics, would be that 34.14 all the way to that 34.05. Using the Bradley model, you can see, if we zoom in, that it picked a pivot high right here on the 7th, 8, and now it's marking a pivot right here, which is the 4th. So it could be interesting. It's like inverse. It could be interesting that if we turn possibly right here, if we just chop sideways and maybe from right here, the 4th, it'll pop. And this is just the Bradley Geo model. This one right here is customized to the euro, so you can see that it did a pivot low on the 24th. We continue selling, and right now we have a pivot of the 29th, and the cycles are pushing higher, and it has a date of the 15th, which is next week. So you got the 4th, the 13th, and the 15th. It should be interesting to see what's going to happen around these dates. My cycle analysis is showing that a pivot low will be on the 28th. It came in a day early, and it's pushing higher, and I think it pushes all the way to somewhere around the first week of July. So if this pans out correctly, this forecast, we could probably continue pushing higher onto the first week of July, and let's see how that pans out. I got a couple of more minutes, so I'm going to go over this real quick. I got one more minute. I'm just going to go straight into my big picture. As you can see on the weekly, it's just chop. TMA's negative. You can see some momentum right here on the TTM squeeze, but still choppy negative. On the 12-hour, you just had a head fake right here, a nice little bull trap. Popped right here and came right back down with a PPSL signal. So all this is pretty much negative. CCI is negative. Everything's negative. Interesting, on the monthly, you got a PPSL signal. Couldn't even hold maybe the 100. And mobile just turned negative. This is pretty nice for a nice snapback, but none of this is reflecting the snapback to the upside. Fisher sell signal. So very, very ugly. On the weekly, same thing. Nothing positive on the weekly. Squeeze play set up right here. And it looks like we finally hit red this week. And now it looks like the pressure definitely wants to go to the downside. So look at this. The squeeze play has been since the January 20th of this year. We've been in a squeeze play range. All this right here has just been in a nice tight range with an explosion right now looking to the downside. So if this is taken out, this 35.85, expect more downside. And my calculations are saying continue going lower all the way to the 6. Hope this video helps. Keep you posted on my thoughts on the euro.